And so about 95% of CAH is due to 21-hydroxylase deficiency, which is caused by mutations in the CYP21A2 gene. So despite it having a severe disease course and being relatively common, CAH is absent from the vast majority of expanded carrier screening panels. And the reason for that is that it's technically challenging to determine carriers. So it's very hard to get a high detection rate. The reason for that is right next to the gene, there is a pseudogene that's 99% identical, but is no longer functional. So if you have a mutation in the pseudogene, you're not a carrier, but if you have a mutation in the gene, you are a carrier. And it's very difficult to determine using standard sequencing methods if that mutation is in the gene or in the pseudogene. So to illustrate this, on the top of the slide, you can see a typical gene where you have one copy from mom, one copy from dad. The black box indicates a mutation in that gene. This person's a carrier. And on the bottom of the slide, these are all examples of individuals who are carriers of CAH. So not all carriers look alike. We can see that there are multiple copies of the gene, multiple copies of the pseudogene, parts of the gene going into the pseudogene and vice versa. It becomes very difficult to determine who is a carrier. And these are all carriers that we have seen come through our laboratory. Example 4 is actually a person who is affected with CAH. And so what we were able to do is employ not only our next generation sequencing platform, but also copy number analysis to help resolve whether individuals are carriers or not. And when we look at the data that's been generated from our carriers that we've identified, and we compare that to mutations that are found in affected patients, we can see that they map virtually identically, which means we know that we're detecting the vast majority of carriers and we're not missing a significant portion of mutations that are disease causing. And so we've been able to have a greater than 95% detection rate for this very common and severe condition.